Yes, good afternoon. I hope your weekend, or rather your day, your week has been amazing, very lit and hot. Kama sole inabana hapa nje this particular Saturday. Welcome to On The Spot show, the first show of the month, May. This is the 3rd of May, the year 2025. Indeed, the time is really flying, and of course we'll be bringing you up to date with the latest update as far as various sporting activities across the country and across the globe is concerned. And of course, just a quick reflection of what has really transpired in this particular week in regard to football matters. Rugby, of course, we have athletics actions, and we have the local football. I'm talking about the Football Kenya Federation Premier League fixtures that we have today, and of course we had the midweek fixtures that was played in the English Premier League, in the Football Kenya Premier League, as well as the UEFA Champions League, Europa League, and of course Europa Conference League. Quite a lot of intrigues and of course excitement, given the fact that for those who support your various teams, we know the obvious teams that won this particular week and some that had really high expectations, but of course they were shut at that particular moment. And you know the team. And of course, in the Kenya Premier League, the competition is really getting tougher and stiffer by the day. We have 3 teams all eyeing the 2024-2025 Kenya Premier League, or rather the Football Kenya Federation Premier League title. I'm talking about the league leaders right now, the Kenya Police, and of course we have Tusker FC who sit second, then Gor Mahia, each separated by a point. The Kenya Police lead the logs with 52 points, followed by KCB at 51, then Gor Mahia at 50. They were really shocked by when they lost 1-0 to that is Talanta FC in the midweek, before they rekindle their hopes, of course, of advancing to this and at least either retaining their titles or just moving closer to the 2024-2025 Kenya Premier League title this particular season, a race that is getting tougher and stiffer each day, each week. And tomorrow, Gor Mahia will be taking on Shabana, another team that has really, wake up from their slumber. The Shabana of this season is not the Shabana of the last season. This is the Shabana of 2 years ago in the Kenya National Super League, when they were playing, that is the second division of the top flight tier, when they were playing there, a team that before they earned their promotion to the top flight, they were really playing some nice football, dominating matches, and of course with the support of their fan base. This time round, their first season, it was a very dark moment for them, given the fact that they have rich fan base, but that could not be translated into tangible results. But this time round, they have really turned the table. They have flipped almost everything, and they are moving closer, and they will be among, right now as we speak, they're among the top 4, and they are pushing even closer. And of course, maybe if they can dare to dream and maybe lift the title, because it's not far within their grip. So any team can really compete and of course go and march all the way until they lift the 2024-2025 Football Kenya Federation title. But talking about football, something really, something sad for those who are the supporters of the Rising Stars, after the team put up a very spirited fight in Cairo in their first opener match against Morocco, another team that is very vast when it comes to experience in the AFCON Under-20, a team that has that at one point won it, although I'm talking about many years ago, but given the quality and the caliber of their standard, they proved to be a force to reckon with. Now, this is a team that, really outclass Kenya in their first opener in the Africa Cup of Nations under 20 that is currently underway in Cairo, that is in Egypt. And of course, Kenya lost their first game. Tomorrow they'll be taking on Tunisia, another dominant force when it comes to the Africa Cup of Nations, especially the under 20 edition. And I'm talking about the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations under 20 edition. Tunisia, they were beaten by the record champions, Nigeria, in their opening match. And of course, Kenya is in Pool B alongside Morocco, Nigeria, and of course Tunisia. This is a pool of death, if you ask me. Kenya, by all standards, they are considered to be the underdog. Remember, this is their first appearance in this continental showpiece. They dare to dream. Their promotion to this continental showpiece, it was as a result of their stellar performance in the CECAFA under 20, where they went all the way until the final match unbeaten, and they only conceded 1 goal. So the big question is, between the qualifiers, that is, which is equivalent to CECAFA under 20 to their first game in Morocco, what really happened? Is it the big stage? Is it meeting the one of the teams that are considered to be the dominant force when it comes to this tournament? Well, that is a question that we'll be reflecting on and see what lessons can they learn from their first match, even as they focus their attention to the second match will be tomorrow, which will be played tomorrow against Tunisia, another formidable force, the North African team. And their final match will be against Nigeria. Well, this Nigeria, remember, they are the record champions. They have won it 7 times in the history of this tournament. And you can just, by compare and contrast, you can see where Kenya really stands. So do you fancy the chances of the Rising Stars to at least proceed even to the knockout stages, given the rich and of course very dominant teams that they are in the same pool with? Well, we'll wait and see how things will pan out tomorrow, and of course on Wednesday, when they'll be taking on Nigeria in their final group matches. And of course, just like we always say, we believe in our team and we wish them all the best, even as they endeavor to bring glory. But even if Atakama Awata manage probably could go past the group stages, one thing is for sure: they've already made history by the virtue of qualifying for the first time. That's history. Remember, last year we were talking about the junior starlets who made history by qualifying to the World Cup, becoming the first Kenyan team to actually feature in the World Cup. And now it's another history. So by the virtue of just participating itself, that is good enough. But of course, we hope for the best and we keep on praying for the team to go there and do magic. The team has a good squad, very technically gifted players in terms of skills-wise, in terms of defensive discipline. This is a team that can bring glory to Team Kenya. Well, and of course, later on, I'll be joined by my panelist, even as we try to, bring you up to speed with the recent sporting activities that have happened in the last 7 days during the midweek, and of course, even as we focus on the upcoming fixtures in terms of the English Premier League, the Kenya Premier League. We still have a couple of events that we're following up. Remember, the HBC Sevens will be taking place this particular weekend, the 3rd to 4th of May 2024 there in the United States. Remember, we have this time around we have a different format, and unfortunately, prior to the last minute change that was made, we were hoping that the Shujas will probably walk all the way to the playoff and maybe do some magics and return to the main Challenger Series. But as things stands, it's only the top 8 teams that will progress to now what we call now divisions. We have Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3. So in Division 1 will be comprised of the top 8 teams. Kenya, remember, was finished the regular season with at 9th position. So unfortunately, they had to take part in the playoffs, but we were hoping probably they would go and do the magics that they did in the last edition, that is the Singapore Sevens. But unfortunately, it is fair to say that next season they will be taking part in the 2nd division of this Challenger Series after the changes in the new format. And of course, that will be comprised of 6 teams from 9th to 12th, that is in the 2nd division. Then we have the 3rd division that will comprise of 8 teams from the 13th to 16th in both gender. Well, some of these changes has been as a result of what the organizers, the World Rugby Union, called it, a more robust and a more inclusive format that will give other rising nations to actually take part in this tournament, even as they prepare for the Olympics that will be held in United States of America in 2028, if I'm not wrong. And of course, so that is what has really brought about these changes that we have really witnessed. And that will be bringing us to the question of the day, where we ask, what's your take on the new rugby format? Do you support? Where does it leave us as a nation? Of course, we had a lot of hopes pegged on this team, given the fact that they went there in the Singapores and really showed us some rugby skills, and now we began to believe. We really started to believe in this team, and we had really thought that when they go to these playoffs, they will actually secure a spot to the main Challenger Series, that is the rugby series, the main title. But as things stand, it's only the top 8 teams that will qualify to the 1st division. But the beauty about this, we have, that is the seasonal final format will be determined by 12 teams, where they will compete for glory. So at this particular time, we can only hope that we'll keep on improving on our performance, and hope that in the coming years we will be climbing the ladder slowly by slowly, even as we adapt to this new rugby format, of which is a subject of discussion that will be bringing it to you later on our subsequent review. And we have had this particular afternoon, we have some stories that will be forming the basis of our discussion in this particular show. And of course, let me just run you through some of these stories that will be making the basis of our conversation. But there is a very interesting one-on-one conversation that we had, a sit down with Kenya para athlete, that is James Mangerere. He took part in the shot put category for the first time in his career. He is well known for his javelin skills when it comes to flying Kenyan flag in the international arena. But this time round in the Marrakesh, in just concluded World Para Athletics Championship that was held in Marrakesh, that is in Morocco, he represented Kenya in the both shot put and of course javelin. And we had a very amazing conversation with him prior to his journey to Morocco to seek for glory, because one of the things that he was really aiming for was a ticket, a double, to represent Kenya in the World Championship that will be held later on in June that is in India. and of course another ticket for the Commonwealth Games. And we had a very interesting conversation with Mangerere, and of course we'll be bringing you that conversation so that you can actually pinpoint areas that you can actually venture in these very amazing sports, because some of the most amazing statistics that he was sharing with us is that this is an area that a lot of people are actually shying off from taking part in this, especially when it comes to shot put, because he was Kenya's sole representative. And you can now see the existing gaps and what you need to do if you have the passion, the thrill. But of course, don't forget, the sport itself has its own fair share of challenges. That is something that we tackle, and that discussion will be coming to you later on. But first thing first, let me run you through some stories that will be forming the basis of our discussion today. Alright, now we want to take you through some of these stories that will be forming the basis of our discussion. Remember, we are tracking a very important outcome that before the start of it, a lot of us had high hopes. Tulikuwa na matumaini mengi sana, kwa Team Kenya. I'm talking about the rugby, especially now we have two teams that is actually eyeing for a sport to take part in now the second division. But tukituma team pale US, tulikuwa tuna expect wataenda pale Lioness wasake tiketi ya kucheza in the main rugby series. Same case to Kenya, to Shujaaz, wao pia walikuwa wanasaka hiyo tiketi ya kuremain in the main series. But as things stands, mambo imebadilika na unfortunately watakuwa wana take part in the second division. So whatever the ticket that they will be hunting, it will be the ticket to actually take part in the second division of the rugby HBC series. This is after a new format was introduced, like a change the entire ball game. Now, the National Rugby Sevens team are set, or other teams are set to battle for glory in the Los Angeles playoffs, slated to kick off on 3rd to 4th of May 2025 in the United States of America. Shujaa, who finished 9th on the table standings, will face off against 2025 HSBC Challenger Series winners Portugal, Samoa and the United States of America in Pool A, while their female counterparts under the tutelage of Dennis Mwanja will rub shoulders against Brazil, Spain and Colombia in Pool A. Both teams will be looking for a spot in the HBC Sevens second division after World Rugby unveiled evolved Sevens format for the new season. Haya basi, habari ndio hiyo sasa. Unfortunately, tulikuwa tumeenda pale na high hopes of making it to the main series, lakini kama wanavyosema, wakati mwingine ukiwa na matumaini, mambo kidogo inaweza kukuchanganya along the way. So that was the 11th hour call that changed almost everything. But all the best. To rise again. We are the Shujaaz, and we'll live up to the name itself, and of course the expectations and the Kenyan spirit. Anyway, now the national under-20 men's football team, that is Rising Starlets will take on, or rather Rising Stars will take on Tunisia in their second match of the Africa Cup of Nations on May 4th, 2024 in Egypt. The Salim Babu-led charge will be hoping to bounce back from defeat after a rude welcome to the continental showpiece, losing 3-2 to Morocco in their opening Pool B match at Cairo International Stadium in Egypt. Kenya under-20 team will wind up their group stages with a match with yet another tough fixture against heavyweights Nigeria on Wednesday, 7th May 2025 rather. Well, against Tunisian team, I think probably this is where we can pick our 3 points because Morocco, Nigeria, big teams, dominant forces. Nigeria have won it 7 times, Morocco once. Tunisia, they have had very impressive outings when it comes to continental assignment. Kenya, this is our first time, so we are there to make history and to make a statement. Our first game was a good one, a very spirited fight. We fought very well until the final minute, and of course, like game of football, it's determined by a margin of error. So we made a few errors and the team capitalized on it. I'm sure we have learned some very critical lessons moving to the next match, and this is where I strongly feel that hapa ndo 3 points tunakachuna tunakavuna. So hiyo ndio itatupatia psych na confidence tukiface Nigeria, because Nigeria unajua tuko almost ukicompare when it comes to even the language, the skin color, tuko sawa. Nguvu pia sisi ni watu tumekula sembe, wao wamekula ya inaitwa fufu, tuko sawa. So tutangoja hiyo on Wednesday and see how events will turn out to be. But on Sunday, this is where I strongly feel that 3 points tutapata on Sunday. Then from there now we can build on what next when we face the record champions Nigeria, when wamekuwa a mainstay. Actually Nigeria and Egypt wako na very impressive record when it comes to Africa Cup of Nations under-20 edition, and remember they have had good players when they come up through the system, and they are trading their football services to big European clubs, and of course you can imagine the level of competition this tournament actually displays, and of course it's a good one for even players to showcase their talent, and who knows, maybe out of this AFCON under-20, probably some of the players will receive a call-up maybe to the national teams, others will be scouted, and of course they'll be joining Europe's elite clubs. So it's a good one, it's a good investment, it's a good opportunity for players to rise up to the ladder, and to rise up actually to the ladder and see how they can actually take something out of this. So ukitoka out of this, kama utoki na taji, at least make sure una shine on the stage, alafu in the future mfuko pia inatoka ikiwa imeshine, alafu hindi inakuwa the moment you build on. But kudos to Team Kenya, especially when it comes to the youth football development. We can see what is happening with our ladies team. Under-20 has been very impressive when it comes to the international assignment, and of course the future can only look brighter. Now, Still Matters Football, President William Ruto has declared that Kenya will keep investing in the sports sector drawing lessons from global football powerhouses to remain competitive on the world stage. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, during the welcome reception for the UEFA Champions League trophy, the head of state hinted that Kenya has an abundance of football talent, and what is now needed is more focus on identifying, nurturing, and developing the talent through sportive and conducive infrastructure and planning, and of course training.
Kenya is one of the only 5 countries selected to host the trophy this 2025 tour. On behalf of the people of Kenya, let me say that we are truly honored to host the trophy once again, especially given the tremendous and passionate support that football enjoys across our country, in villages, in towns, in cities, in farms. Indeed, many Kenyans are following with very keen interest the ongoing UEFA Championship League semi-finals, where 4 teams, Arsenal of England, battling PSG of France, and Barcelona of Spain facing Inter Milan of Italy.
As a ministry, we will continue to nurture and develop talent in the area of infrastructure development, as you have directed, but also the human development.
Well, Askia, okay, I agree with Mr. President on a few areas, like we have abundance of talent and we need to nurture those talents. And kuna mahali alisema like yeye ni staunch support of Arsenal, and Arsenal will actually win UEFA Champions League. Well, in another world, in another, maybe, probably, someday, but unfortunately, sidhani kama ni this time round. Probably in the next life, maybe, another time, probably, but on this one, it's fair to say this is the farthest Arsenal wanaweza fika, the farthest. It has been quite a joyrider, a roller coaster of it. Wali survive against Real Madrid, wakasema tulipiga the holders, but kuna one thing they forgot, that Real Madrid actually was a walking dead. It was just a team in uniform, but in real sense, hapo kukuwa na team. The real test was against PSG. Well, we saw what happened at Emirates. You can imagine the nini to happen at Parc des Princes. Well, then do your math. Unaona nani anaweza shinda. Anyway, still matters football. Tusker FC will take on AFC Leopards in the Football Kenya Federation encounter today at 4 p.m. as the race to lift the 2024-2025 title takes momentum. On Sunday, Mara Sugar will be keen to silence Sofapaka in a high-stake match as the relegation battle looms for the Millers. At the same time, defending champions Gor Mahia will be out to hunt 3 points against Shabana FC in Gusii Stadium, while Murang'a Seals will entertain Nairobi City Stars. League ni tight, competition is stiff, and this time round margin is quite slim. The top team anashindia number 3 with 2 points. So that means that for Tusker to still remain at the summit of the Football Kenya Federation Premier League, they need tomorrow's match is a must win for them. For Gor to leapfrog Tusker and of course Kenya Police, tomorrow's game is a must win for them. For Shabana to keep up the momentum and dream of actually edging closer to lifting even the title, they must win against Gor Mahia. So tomorrow's fixture, in fact this weekend's fixture, for each team, it's a must-win team. For Talanta, it's a must-win team. For Mara Sugar, who are facing a real threat of being relegated. Remember, they were promoted this particular season. It's a must-win match for them. Otherwise, well, it will be very tricky for them to revive, or rather to rekindle their hopes of staying in the Kenya Premier League for at least a season and regroup, renumber, and of course try again next season. So it's a must-win game for them, and of course it's a must-win game for Gor Mahia, a must-win game for Kenya Police, a must-win game for Tusker FC. Will be playing against FC Leopards. So it's a very tricky, competitive fixture this weekend that will be shaping how the top four will actually looks like when the race for the Kenya Premier League title is gaining momentum, and each team is actually edging closer to either winning or flipping, and maybe taking some different route apart from now the trajectory that we have seen that has been posted by three teams who are really eyeing this title. Number one, Kenya Police, who have maintained for quite a number of months, followed by Tusker, and now Gor, remember the defending champions. So it is how you will actually wind up the season that will determine if you will lift the title, defend it, or lose it. Now, let's switch gears to English Premier League action. Aston Villa will welcome Fulham at Villa Park in an early English Premier League kickoff, while relegation-bound side Leicester City will play host to Southampton at King Power Stadium as Arsenal entertain Bournemouth at Emirates. On Sunday, Brentford will rub shoulders against struggling Manchester United as Tottenham travel to London Stadium to face off West Ham United in a London derby. Chelsea and Liverpool will wind up the weekend's fixture as the two sides face off at the Stamford Bridge in the Battle of the Titans. Okay, sisi kama Chelsea aim sahi ni kufunga top 5 and next season tucheze UEFA Champions League. Well, competition is stiff between the second, third, fourth and fifth. We have a couple of teams there. Manchester City wanna pull off. Yesterday they won against Wolves. Tomorrow Chelsea face Liverpool, who are already champions. So tuna expect hiyo mechi isikuwe ngumu. Tuna expect Liverpool wasikuje na mahasira, wasikuje na utiaji. Mechi ikuwe tu smooth, vijana wa academy wapewe chance wa shine, watu wasaidiane ndio tuone kama next season hiyo top 4 tunakafunga. Remember the remaining fixture for Chelsea is a tough one. They have a clash on Saturday. On Sunday they will be taking on Liverpool. They still have to rub shoulders against Newcastle. They'll still have to play against Nottingham Forest. So of all the teams in this race for top 5, well, I think Chelsea ndio kona very hard fixtures, and so far so good. Let's wait and see what will happen tomorrow. Kama hii Liverpool itakuwa ni mboga. For now Liverpool ni mashemeji, na wale watu wenye wanatoka Ingo, unajua shemeji pia anaweza kuwa mboka. So sijui kama kesho Liverpool watacheza kama wao, but there isn't outing between Chelsea and Liverpool. Kwa wale wenye wanataka kuwekeza imekuanga ni it's a draw. Sometimes Liverpool may get the better of Chelsea, but tomorrow is a different ball game because Liverpool has already won the title. Chelsea are really chasing for the Champions League qualification spot. So if there is a team that it is a must win for them, it's Chelsea, because they have all to lose. Liverpool, well, washashinda ligi. What else? Wanataka this particular season. Champions League liwatoka, ligi wako nayo. hawayuko UFA, hawayuko FA, hawachezi Europa, hawachezi Conference League. Ile muhimu washaimaliza, washakafunga Chelsea. Unajua competition is stiff, lazima wafunge 5 bora in order for them to get the ticket to play next season in the UEFA Champions League. Remember last season Chelsea really fought hard until wakakafunga 6 bora until the very last minute. That ticket ikakuwa taken from them by Manchester United. Sasa you wanna enjoy the success of Europa League. This is our sport actually guys. Sisi ndio tulikuwa tunafaa tukue hapo tufanye hii kitu yenye Man U inafanya, because for me I feel like ni easy work, but this time round hakuna haja kubahatisha, ni ufunge na ukamaliza vizuri. So tomorrow's test, it's against Liverpool. So if we pass the Liverpool test, we are edging closer to actually attaining this ticket na next season tunarudi champe. Anyway, so we want to take a very short break, but before that, remember you can talk to us on all of our social media platform. Remember our question of the day, we are asking you, we want to get your views and thoughts on this, the new format that was introduced by the World Rugby, that has really changed the whole spectrum and the ball game. What's your take on the WHC new format? What's your take? Keep talking to us on all of our social media platform. Remember, we are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV Kenya. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya, at Auma Events. Remember to use the hashtag on the sports. And of course, we'd like to hear your thoughts and comments, and be sure to sample all of your feedback during and at the tail end of our show today. And don't forget, when we come back, we have this amazing discussion that we had with James Mangerere. That is the para-athlete, javelin, and of course, shot put representative. But remember, for the shot put, this was his first time taking part. He has really domiciled and invested a lot in javelin. That is his area of specialization and expertise. But for the first time ever, he decided to give a stab to a new discipline. That is a shot put. And we had a very amazing conversation with him before their trip to Marrakech for the World Championship. That is the World Para Athletics Championship that was held in Marrakech. And of course, there were some interesting intrigue about his personal journey from the time the passion for javelin began until this particular moment that he's really edging closer to calling it a quit. But before he calls it a quit, there is some very interesting aspect of it, what he plans to do before he can finally now decide to hang his boots, for those who prefer that, or his tools. Well, that discussion will be coming to you after this very short break.
Naam, ungana nami ua lako linalonukia na kuvutia waridi tamu katika mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV. Katika toleo hili la Nairobi basi tarajia mambo makubwa sana. Kutakuwa na vyakula vya kipwani kama vile shawarma. Watu hawajui shawarma nini? Kuna biriani, kuna vyakula ambavyo vimepikwa na vikasukwa kwa kutumia nazi. Bila kusahau mazungumzo ya kusisimua na wataalamu waliobobea kwa mambo ya ndoa, mambo ya Uswahili basi, mambo ya mashairi.
Jamani swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Ukosi kupata tarabu, chakacha, midundiko. Yani hapo ni pale ambapo viuno vinazungushwa kisawasawa na kubiringishwa ni kana kwamba havina mfupa kwenye mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV. Ukiwa nami waridi tamu, usikose matamu.
Na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari.
Mimi ni mwanamke mwake.
Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake nami Caroline Kimweli.
Tuesday tunakula usiku. Tuachane na break kwanza, tuende lunch. Chapo. Yoyo. Kama mokimo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza. Sikinai tujinai siweke story. Kata maji pia shada liko na sio nikosa msupo si stress. Kama rende kisha basi nipe. Najua ni
mom, big up, brother, ukiwa adriba, big up, sis, big up, shows, mama, big up, oya, wase wote, okay, my principal, big up.
Whatever me say no, I know, I know, dancing mashika mashinani, kila choche kila mtaani, dancing na leta burudani.
This is
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we're losing.
The level we need to go is a level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you'll find that it serves us a bit more than you put in, and that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found, because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
What's up, fashionistas?
Looking for a show that brings you the latest in the world of fashion, glamour, creativity, and style? Fashion Diaries got you started as we explore street fashion, modeling, runways, red carpet events, and so much more.
Catch me, Ashley Asachi, as we unlock the greatest fashion events. Keep it locked.
Where did the passion for this shot put begin?
The journey for shot put has not been that long. My favorite event is javelin, and I'm doing javelin too in Morocco, which it's a qualifier for me also for Olympics. But now the better part of it is that I started javelin back 2014. I have represented Kenya in different Grand Prix and also World Championship, various championship, World Championship, and many Grand Prix. But now, this time around, I decided to try shot put, of which is my new event right now, and I hope I'm gonna perform and do better in it, because I have ventured into it because it's there in Commonwealth, and it happens that in Kenya I'm the one who is a little bit stronger in shot put, but I'm not a little bit stronger. I know myself and my potential. When I want something, I have to go for it.
Talk to me about the expectation. Are you excited? Do you feel like probably there is some areas that you need to work on it before now you can fully say that you are ready for this?
I've participated in various high-level events, so the excitement is not there. What's there is the commitment to make it. That's what I do. So the excitement part of it comes out when you've done it and you've qualified and you've made Kenya proud. That's when I'm gonna be excited. But for now, I have to work hard, very, very hard, so that I sprout as one of the shot putters in Kenya in a Paralympic events in my class, which is F57.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the areas that you're working on right now, even as you prepare for this Grand Prix?
Shot put is a complex event. As complex as it is, you need to have the right technique. The right technique so that you can, if you don't have the right technique, definitely the implement becomes a load to you. But when you have the right technique, it becomes easy and it flows freely. So I'm working out on technique and the strength of the fingers. That's the area that I'm feeling that I'm not strong enough. The strength and the release angle of that shot put itself. But before now and then, because I will be participating on 26th of this month, so I think before today and 26th, I'll be in my top form and I'll make Kenya proud.
Okay. So do you feel you have had enough time to prepare for this?
Let me say, not really, but the short time that I've been here working on it, it's enough for someone who is committed to do great. Yeah.
What is your target, your personal target?
Right now I'm throwing 11 meters. Before then, today and then, I'm throwing 13 meters. The qualifier it's 10:30. Okay, 10:36. So I'm past that. So I'm expecting to throw my personal best now because that is the national record. When I go out, I'm aiming for my personal best outside there because when I look at the world ranking, I see the best person in F57 throws 16 meters. So I'm expecting to work hard on it before the end of this year again. I'll be somewhere very far, like 14 meters or 15 meters. That's my target.
Does it worry you, the fact that right now, as we speak, we only have a handful of shot putters in your category?
Currently, our umbrella body, which is Kenya Paralympic Committee, is scouting in various schools for special schools. Like last week, they were in Mombasa where they had the national school games. And these ones were for the people living with disability, all categories. So they are identifying people, youngsters, who are going to come and venture into these field events. Probably they are doing the best thing that we've not been having since Paralympics started. And they are bringing youngsters. Even in this team of ours here, we have very young people, up to 17 years. We are going to compete this time around in Morocco because of the potential they have. So I'm encouraging that people to invest on sports for people living with disability because disability definitely is not inability. Sports is one way of earning your daily life income and all these kind of things. It's like a job to many of us. So I'm encouraging young people outside there to come on board and join the sports because I think and believe we have very many people outside there who are like me and they can do better than even me because it's unfortunate that for me sports, I got to know it when I'm old enough. But now we have youngsters who are coming up and they are being scouted outside there. So it means that in the near future, in the coming future, we'll be having very many sportsmen and women who will be participating in this kind of category.
Okay, so before we actually wind up on this shot put sport, I can see like this now your area of, let me say your area of work. This is normally what you use during this high level competition. Probably talk to us a bit about your tool of work.
First and foremost, the equipment that I'm seated on, it has measurements. There is a standard height that you have to have the equipment be. Like now, the equipment is 75 centimeters from the ground to where I'm seated. And that is the standard height. So to be perfect in whatever you do, you have to customize the equipment for yourself. The reason you cannot use someone's equipment because we all have different disabilities. Right now, you see I'm double amputed and one leg is above knee amputation and another one is below knee amputation. So the way I can sit, the way I have to sit is not the way someone else with a different disability can sit. There are those ones with double amputation above knee. So you cannot have this kind of whatever on your equipment. So everybody has to have his own equipment customized so that one can be comfortable in the throws, in whatever he does. Yes.
And roughly just estimate figures How much does it take to actually have a full set like this?
A full set like this, okay, manually, because we in Kenya definitely we cannot have that equipment that is made in the factory that is very smooth and everything measured according to your disability. With this one, it's just a local made equipment, and probably I've spent, it's an old one. This is an old one. I started with it from 2016. Up to date, I'm still using it. But when I made one that time, I spent like 16,000. Yeah, but I'm still trying to modify it because as time goes by, like now, I used not to hold when I'm throwing, but now I'm holding because I'm trying to modify it so that I can have shot put. But when I'm throwing javelin, I don't need this one. So I'm modifying it time and again to fit the sport that I'm doing at that particular time.
So it's one equipment serving different sports.
Different field events.
Different field events, javelin and shot put. Yeah. When we have that disparity, well, does it put you at uneven odds, so to say?
Yes. In Africa, not even in Kenya, in Africa in general, what we lack is the equipment. Because when you go to these other countries, like the Europe and whatever, when you see the equipment that they come with, it is customized to an extent that an athlete is very comfortable in that equipment. So as for me, you get like the resources are not enough to be modifying the equipment to the level that is needed. The only thing that is here is the same is the height of the seat, because you cannot go higher than where I am because of the advantage. Because when the higher you go, the easier it becomes to throw, and the angle becomes a little bit easier. So it means that modifying this seat to suit my disability fully, it entails a lot, and it needs a lot of cash. So it means that we are a little bit, we lag behind because of the equipment, but hopefully, God willing, in the near future, we're gonna be there where others are. Yes.
And what is the federation doing about this? Because when it comes to equipment, I would want to believe maybe, if not fully, but they are obligated to at least, help where they can. So what's their message out there? What are they saying?
The federation does it best. It's level best. They just make a standard equipment for everyone. A standard one, but not customized to fit each and every person. So it happens that this equipment is my djembe. So it's up to my task to make sure I customize it to my disability. It's not up to the federation's job to come and help you to that extent. For their part is to give you a standard seat. From there, they do provide, like now they have, last time they made like 10 seats, 10 equipments of this type. And now for the upcoming athletes who comes in, they are given that seat. You are told to go and modify it according to your disability. So that's what happens, and that's where the problem arises, because you give someone an equipment, go and customize it for yourself. You get to realize that you are not able to get the cash, to raise the cash to do all those modifications. So it means if you are not able, then you have to use it the way it is. So that's the major problem. But the federation does its best. It just tried, because at least each and every discipline has an equipment. Like the wheelchairs they bought the other day, they are here they are not customized, but they are just standard wheelchairs where each and every person can fit in.
Okay. Now let's switch gears now to some other discipline, the javelin.
Are you going for a double this time round, or just focus on shot put?
No, javelin is my best, is my favorite. I'm going for a double this time round because I'm still hoping to qualify for Olympics. So I have to go for it, because if I don't do it, maybe I will not feature in future in javelin, because it's a series of qualifications that we do have. So I have to go for a double. A shot put is for a certain period of time, because I'm hoping that I qualify for Commonwealth. And after that, then javelin is my favorite all through. Yeah.
So a double for you, that means double work for you. Does it come with pressure?
Not really. The reason is, with javelin, I do it better. But now I'm putting more focus on shot put because it's a new event for me. But for javelin, it flows. It's just technique, and I've mastered it for some time. So it's just a matter of not forgetting about it. I just do some exercises regarding javelin. But my focus now is shot put. Yeah.
All right, this Grand Prix, which doubles up as Commonwealth qualifiers, well, it's fair to say all is at stake, and a lot of people are really looking up to you guys. So personally, on a personal level, what are you promising Kenyans?
I'm not looking for a medal, because I've got many medals. And if you get a medal without a qualification mark, it means less to me. So my whatever right now, my aim currently is to make sure I've qualified for Commonwealth Games. And that one will come, mark my words, and watch my pace. Yeah.
All right, right now what you're doing here, you guys, it's quite impressive, putting on a lot of hard work, even as you prepare for this very important assignment ahead of you guys. So just in general, just talk to us about the mood at the camp right now. How is the mood? And of course, are you guys ready for this?
The mood in the camp is positive to each and every member in this group of ours. And you see, each and every person is doing his best in his own field of play. And we have all it takes. We have doctors, we have physiotherapists, we have nutritionists in the group. And I don't think we lack anything. The only thing that we lack is the commitment. If you don't want to work hard, if you commit yourself and know why you're here, I believe beyond doubts that each and every person here is coming with medals. We do. When we go to Morocco, we come with medals. But this time around, we are not working for medals. We are working very hard to get the qualification mark. Each and every person here, time. Others are working very hard on their time. Others, like us in the field events, we are working on distance, on this kind of things. You see, each and every person is working very hard on his own field of play, so that we make sure that we qualify a very large group of people to both Commonwealth and Olympics, of which it's not all of us that here have events in Commonwealth. Few of us do. So that's why, because the Commonwealth is an event that coming earlier on than Olympics, that's why we are putting more emphasis and focus in these events that are in Commonwealth. Yeah.
Well, before you call it a day, talk to me about one of your greatest moments when donning, the jersey for Kenya, flying Kenyan flag very high in the global arena, in the competitions that you have participated. What is your proudest moment?
The proudest moment was back in 2019 when I was in Dubai World Championship and I threw javelin my personal best. That was 39 meters. I was very happy. So, and I got silver by then. I became position 2, so I was very happy to throw my personal best. Get a medal in World Championship, it's not easy. It's not easy. So I was very proud by that time, 2019, yeah. Yes.
And talking about World Championship, we have another one that is coming. Do you see similar projection, the one that you did in 2019? Do you plan to surpass that expectation?
Yeah, the coming World Championship, the qualification for javelin is 35 meters, and now I'm past that. So definitely, if all odds remains constant, I'm in. In shot put, it's 11 meters, 30 centimeters. So that means also I'll be in. Yeah.
When you hang your, I would have said your boots, but let me say, if you hang your boots and your instrument of work, what legacy do you want to leave behind? What would you want Kenyans, and of course athletics, and more so para athletics, especially in Kenya, to remember you with?
I've never had a medal in these major events, like Commonwealth and Olympics. Starting next year, I want to get a medal in Commonwealth, and I'm working towards it right now. This is the start, and this is the journey. The journey begins right now. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. This is the step that I've taken, and promise you me, next year I'll be bringing Kenya a medal in Commonwealth in this event that has never featured before.
All right. Is retirement on your head anytime soon?
Yes, I'm grooming some athletes because right now I'm headed 36 years, 37 years. So that age also I need to hang my boots and encourage youngsters to come on as I push them also the journey that I used to have, so that for them also they can prosper in whatever they do. Yeah.
Asante sana for making time. Okay.
Right, so that was a candid discussion with James Mangerere. I remember he has really invested a lot in javelin. That is his area of specialization. But when we are having this discussion with him, he was preparing to, or rather trying to iron a few things out so that he can be on good form, good fit in terms of skills wise, and even equipment, to make sure that even as he takes part in the Commonwealth Games qualifiers, he will actually go out there not only to make number, but to clinch the ticket to represent the country in the upcoming Commonwealth Games. And of course, just like he clearly puts it, he has never won a medal in both Commonwealth Games and of course Olympics. So one thing that is in his mind right now, before he can actually call it a quit, is to make sure that he wins those 2 medals for Kenya. I mean the medals in both Commonwealth Games and of course upcoming Olympics for Team Kenya. And before his retirement, he has plans of grooming some upcoming athletes in that field. Although one thing that he was not clear, it's whether it is in both athletics or para athletics. But one thing for sure, it is something that he really wants to do before he can actually call it a quit, and even encourage other sportsmen to to embrace these sports activities, especially when it comes to shot put, javelin, because that is an area that as a nation we still lag behind. We don't have people to represent us. At his age 36, and he's still carrying Kenyan flag in that particular field, something that he clearly puts it that he is the only strong man at the moment. And and that shows the level of existing gaps that we really need to fill. So it's a clerical call for the federation to take up the mantle, to go out, source for talents, and make sure that because talents exist outside there, it's only exposure that they lack. And when it comes to equipment, for Mangerere, he might be lucky to have some few coins to tailor and modify the equipment to fit his own needs. But what about those athletes that don't have the resources to actually modify these tools so that they can be on the same level with other para athletes from other nations? Because when you go out to compete, you compete from different nationalities, and when it comes to support is one of the most important thing that the federation can give to these athletes, be it the para athletics, be it athletics. That is the most important thing. It is important to note that the federation is trying, but that is not enough. And the same message goes out to stakeholders to chip in and support, because the talent is there. It's only the input and just a few areas like the resource mobilizations, just to make sure that their welfare is well taken care of, and even motivate others to venture into these sports, and of course carry Kenyan flag higher in the global arena. So that is the conversation that we had with James Mangerere, and of course we'll be following their journey just to see where they are, and of course to shed light on some of the success stories. I'm sure for many before this interview, if you ask me, for me, like I have never seen let me say para athlete actually taking part in shot put. So it's very interesting, and by shedding light on this story, he has encouraged others who have the talent and even the drive and the motivation to venture to this, to actually, because it's actually possible. From James' story, you can see that nothing is impossible, and that is the message out there, and that is the clerical call, and that is his wish and the wish of the federation. Anyway, so let's switch gears from that very important story and a discussion, and a one-on-one discussion that we had with James Mangerere, and focus on something else. Remember, I told you that we have various sporting activities that is going on this particular weekend, and of course today is Saturday and tomorrow. And today, let me just read it pretty quick. Some of the fixtures in the Kenya Hockey Union, and of course we have some fixtures there. Kenya Police will be up against Butali. That match actually was played at exactly or rather the match will be played at exactly 4 p.m. East African time. That is the kickoff of that particular encounter between Kenya Police and Butali. And another match that we are eagerly waiting is the MSC Ladies vs Amira Sailors. That match will be played at it's already kickoff. It is 15 minutes past time. Then we have Sailors, that is for ladies, then Sailors men against Wazalendo. The match will be played at the match was played at exactly 1 p.m. And of course another fixture is that is Mweki Hockey Club vs Wazalendo Pales. The match that match will be played at Impala Club, and it was played at Impala Club at exactly 10 a.m. East African time. So remember, this is the fourth fixture of this Kenya Hockey Union. Remember, this is the match day 4, and we'll be keep on updating you on the latest as the event unfold. And another match that has just concluded, it's between the Bidco United, and of course they were playing against that is Bidco United against Mathare United, if I'm not wrong. That match ended in a stalemate draw. And in the English Premier League, the early kickoff between Aston Villa and of course Aston Villa was playing against Fulham. Right now, Aston Villa leads, courtesy of Yuri Tillemans' goal. And of course, that is the live update that is happening. But I have my my long and lost friend, Lincoln Chege. Asante sana Lincoln for making time.
Thank you.
It has been
back.
It has been a while.
Sure.
Umekuaje for all this time?
Nimekuwa poa. Enjoying beautiful moments.
Like?
And other heartbreaking moments. You see, as a football fan, you really have to you go through a lot anyway. Especially when you support the team that I'm donning their jersey. So yeah, it has been a mixture up of tough moments and incredible ones as well.
Unajua mimi, for me, mimi naweza sema like mimi moments mimi naishi good moments in terms of football wise.
Yes.
But ningependa kujua like in terms of mentality, like the mental state of mind as a Manchester United fan. Hizo heartbreak zote, like how do you guys cope with life? Mnafilaje?
Over time you get used to it. You see, you are not coerced to support this team. It's support by choice.
Mbona usihame?
No. Hata kama ni kuhama, ukiangalia timu ambazo unahamia, the so said the cream de la creams in the league, some of them are bottling for the third consecutive season now. So you just need to be patient, and when the time comes, we enjoy the good moments.
But nyinyi tumewazoea ngoja tu hii season si yetu, next season okay, hii imekuwa ni wimbo. Anyway, talking about some football matters, well, this particular week we have very amazing fixtures, and Kenya is out on assignment. The under 20 men's national team, better known as Rising Stars, they are in Cameroon for their first inaugural. This is their first ever Africa Cup of Nations tournament. They are in Pool B alongside Morocco, Tunisia and Nigeria. In fact, when the fixtures were out, someone said that Kenya is in the pool of death, given the teams that they have been pulled alongside with. And the first match against Morocco, they scored the first goal, and people were like, okay, so we can do this. And before 90 minutes, quite a lot of things happened. Morocco pulled one back, then they scored the second one, then Kenya pulled another one. From I think 20 minutes to time, people saw like, oh, probably maybe it will be on a level term, but something happened, and at the end of the day, Morocco walked with 3 points. Kenya, we are there just to lick our wounds and probably get another chance to bounce back. Give me your analysis of this match. What do you think went wrong for Team Kenya, and how can we really, build on that even as we look forward for a clash against Tunisia that will be tomorrow? The lessons that we can take from Morocco heading to Tunisia's encounter.
First of all, help me don these glasses. It's a sign of shame, and I feel the country's shame because going to Egypt and actually scoring first against Morocco, that is okay. We cannot say it's not something we expected. That was expected from a tactical point of view. We know this team has been incredible from the CECAFA under 20s. this was the first time actually that we got the chance to experience Kenyan football at its level best. So the Rising Stars scoring first against Morocco, that is something that was expected from a tactical point of view. But again, the very fact that they went on to succumb later on in the second half, now this brings us to the reality. We say you are now waking up and smelling the coffee. And this, to me, is as a result of the long-term neglection of our football. I would say that because I know people will talk of, the mistakes that were made in defense. That's okay. But when you look at it, these mistakes are not as a result of lack of quality in the players who have been called up in the starting 11. According to me, I think the mistakes we see is as a result of the pressure being so high on these lads, such that they are not on the same level of coping with the high moments of football. So I think it's a match that we can learn a lot from. Going to the Tunisia game is a group of death, as you have said. Remember, after that you'll be facing the record champions, Nigeria. So lessons can be taken from that. But again, in the long term, and I like talking about things in the long term because most of the failures that we face, even in life, are as a result of not being proactive. I don't think we've been proactive as a country, especially with our football. So that's how I can put it in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. And it's fair to say probably this can boil down to the level of preparation, and of course being the first time. So you can only imagine, and you'll be fair to the team, that you are coming up against a team that has been a mainstay in this competition. This is your first time, your first taste of the field. Of course, expectations, the pressure is high for you from the fans, and of course there is that moment of adrenaline running high, and you're not sure from the first minutes what to do, how to handle yourself, pressure from pressure and expectations from your country, yourself, your coaches, everybody's watching, and of course the big stage. Do you think this phobia of the big stage phobia could be the reason that probably the boys at that particular moment fumble for a bit, or is just Morocco is just too good for Kenya?
I don't think it is about Morocco being too good for Kenya. Being the very first time that they are qualifying for this continental showpiece, it just gives you everything that you need to know about this team. I mean, it's not about the ability of the players, but from the mental part of or point of view, I think the moment they scored first, and then by halftime it was 1-1. I think that's where now the test comes in. Can you really handle the pressure of playing at the highest level? Can you really be able to hold on this result? Maybe at least, even if it's not a victory in the first match, at least a draw could go a long way in making sure at least at the end of the day you pick something from it. So I think it's all about the pressure that is playing football at the highest level. And then, as I have put it previously, for them to develop this, we call them, the nerves of steel, being able to handle the tough moments. It's all about the country investing in football, and exposing these lads to more of this. And how will you qualify? That is, how will you be exposed to see such tournaments? Is through qualification. How do you qualify? It's through investing in talent. So in the long term, I think the blame still goes to our country and the sporting ministry, to be precise. Yes.
Okay. For me, I see it this way. We have talents, that's for sure. And if there is a team that Kenya can really peg their hopes on, is this the rising stars, the junior starlets, because we can really see future in the youngsters, unlike our old lads, the senior teams. And of course, for this young team, actually there is a future there. So for me, my analysis of this particular game will be, first of all, this is the biggest stage for the team. I think this is the biggest moment of their life. The first one was the Sekafa, which was quite much of a regional, so they had to prove a point, of which they were the dominant team, regardless of the final outcome between Tanzania, which ended in a 2-1. And of course, Tanzania being now eventually crowned the champions. But in all equal measure, I think Kenya performed fairly well on that one. And now the big stage now, it is the continental stage, which they come up against big teams, if you ask me. If you are in the same pool with a team like Nigeria, a team that has really won it 7 times, we are talking about Morocco, one of the champions in the previous years. So this is a comparison between the underdogs and of course the apprentice of the game. Quite a big statement. The fact that they scored 2 goals against Morocco, it's usher in some sort of hopes that in their clash against Tunisia, which for me I feel like Tunisia is not a strong team to Kenya, they were really exposed against Nigeria, in as much as Nigeria is a very quite experienced team. But I feel like one of the areas that we really need to work on, it's not even our finishing ability. We just need to maintain our cool and make sure like the midfield is compact, because in terms of skills wise, we are there. We score goals, we have technically gifted players, the vision is quite on point, the mechanism and the chemistry, and of course when you narrow down out the tactics that the coach is really translating to the players, it's quite awesome. Babu Salim has been a standout coach for me, if you ask me, when it comes now to sharpening the skills of these young players. And I think from that time that they have really been together, I think there is something that he has installed in them, the winning mentality, the fighting spirit, and that is what I saw in the under 20 team. They really fought until the very last minute. And of course, like they said, in football is just a game of smaller margin, and that one was a wake-up call. Now the big question will be, moving forward, what should Kenya now do? Because we are now taking notes from the lessons we learned from Morocco. Now as we face Tunisia, this will be a different rising stars, a wounded one, a one that really wants to prove a point, leave a legacy, and even a history. So the next 2 assignment is very critical for the rising stars. I'm only worried about Nigeria.
Now, I think I agree with almost everything that you said, but mostly with what you talked about the midfield, maintaining your game and staying calm. That is something that is really important, and I want to really appreciate the very fact that one of the under 20s, that is Kevin Wangaya, has been able to do that pretty well in that midfield. For a long time I have not seen that level of composure from such a young player, but at the same time we call a spade and we appreciate the positive side of someone, and at the same time criticize where it need be. So I feel in the second half we showed them so much respect, that is Morocco, okay, and it is through the same department, that is the midfield. I felt that like we held on to the ball so much, it looked at some point like we were just comfortable with the draw. So I agree with you on that bit, and how I wish and how I hope that is the same kind of picture that Salim Babu has. His experience, of course, is something that everyone knows from his days at Ulinzi and so on. So going to the Tunisia game, we have learnt our lesson, and I hope we can just work on the few, mistakes that we make. I am confident we'll do something.
Do you see us like tunaweza proceed past group stage? Because for us to do that, tomorrow's game and on Wednesday, it is a must-win game. Do you think tutaenda past now group stages? Tusha make history already. But if we progress past group stages, that is another history.
How do I answer that question? On whether we can progress past the group stage or not, I'll give you an example with the pool A or group A of the same AFCON under-20s. We have the likes of South Africa, we have the likes of Egypt, we have the likes of Tanzania, and then we have a Sierra Leone. Right now, they are topping the charts, the Sierra Leone, and they were not one of those sides that you would say...
Actually, it's their first time, actually.
Yes. So, I am not going to really downplay the chances of Kenya making it through to the knockout stage, but the very fact that Sierra Leone are doing it, against the big teams, I think we have a chance, but at the same time, it calls for a lot of composure, it calls for a lot of desire, it calls for minimizing the mistakes. Actually, one of the best things you can do as a footballer and as someone playing at the highest level is minimizing your mistakes, leave alone improving on your skills and everything. If you are able to minimize your mistakes, then the chance to rise up the trajectory is very high. So if you do that, I have no doubt. Yeah.
And well, wish the team all the best, even as they endeavor to bring us glory and success. For me, I'm very 120. In fact, that is 220 confident that tomorrow's game is a win for Team Kenya. About Nigerians, it's all about the tactical aspect of it. It is 11 versus 11, and it's possible. I can tell you that I have watched the team. I know they have what it takes to challenge for this title. Their first encounter, their first opening campaign was a very, I'll call it a nightmare for them. I'm sure they put that behind them, and they are now focusing on to deliver on the big stage. So for me, I have high hopes with this team, and I know things will eventually fall into perfect place. I know Tunisia's assignment, hiyo ni mboga, hiyo ni easy one. The only team that worries me is Nigeria, but we'll tackle one game at a time. So today we are focusing on tomorrow's clash against Tunisia. When all is said and done, at the end of the day, when the promises and of course expectations met, we'll now focus on how to squeeze a win out of Nigeria, which obviously they made a very strong statement in their opening campaign against Tunisia. So that having been said and done, let us transition to another very amazing and interesting race, the Kenya Premier League race. The top 3 race is getting interesting day by day. We have 3 teams eyeing for the top spot. That is the Kenya Police, the league leaders right now with 52 points. Then we have Tusker FC at 51, Gor Mahia at 50. The margin is quite slim. The difference between number 1 and number 3 is just 2 points each. They have a very competitive match this weekend Gor Mahia will be taking on Shabana FC, a team that has really proved to be, one of the teams that you can't really write them off in this title race. We have Kenya Police, another team that they really have to fight hard to make sure that they lift the title for the first time in their history, in their club history. So we have a team that at one point is eager to make history. We have another team that is Tusker, that for quite a long time we have known them for having the power to finish the race with a lot of momentum and the oomph that comes with it. Then we have the record champions, Gor Mahia. So this is a race of a tight margin, if you ask me. But let's take a look at today's, this weekend's fixture. Let's begin with Gor vs Shabana, which will be played tomorrow, of course. In this Saturday, we have two fixtures. One is done. We are waiting for one. And of course, for this Gor Mahia vs Shabana FC, they have met 3 times. Gor have won twice, drawn 1. But this time around, this is a different Shabana. So what's your take? Do you think itakuwa ni ngumu sana, itakuwa ni mlima kwa Gor, ama itakuwa kazi mboga?
A very interesting match and quite anticipated by fans. There are so many perspectives that you can look this game. That is, you can look into this game. First of all, from the fan base point of view, these are two teams that we can say based in Nyanza, though Gor play most of their matches in the city, but there is some kind of rivalry that comes in whenever these two sides lock horns. I've not known Gor Mahia as a team that can let go. Okay, a team that can let go the title at this point. We are talking about the run-in, the final run. So Shabana, of course, they have been immense this season. Ever since they part ways with Pamzo, I think it was in October 2024, if I'm not wrong. But I'm not seeing a win for them in this. I cannot predict a win for Shabana, though it's a match that I expect both teams to be toe on each other. I think if not a draw, then it will be a win for Gor Mahia, though not a huge win. 2-1 would do, or 1-1 or 2-2 draw. And it's also a match that is really huge in terms of the fan base, and this is something that we have really lacked in our football for so long. So it's a big match, is one to really anticipate, and at the end of the day, whoever wins, I think it is also a deciding factor in the title race. Remember, both teams are in the top 4. So that's it. That's how I can put it. So most probably a Gor Mahia win.
A Gor Mahia win at Gusii Stadium. Well, that's a 50-50 affairs. Pale Gusii kuna tu kitu huko, kuna tu kashetani fulani pale Gusii Stadium. Siku hizi si rahisi uenda hapo utoke na 3 points. I think the crowd itself intimidate as a player, and I guess maybe wengi wao because of that fan base from Shabana, and inafanya majority of teams, especially kwa at Gusii, wanna lose focus and momentum, and they get punished. And for Gor Mahia, that's not a guaranteed one, even though now the temperature are now boiling. The prize is there. It is there to lose, so you know what to do. Na kila team inaitaka.
Yeah, sure. What I can add on that, for Gor Mahia, the reason maybe they might lose this match is due to Shabana's quality. Yes, I agree. The fan base is there. It's a carnivorous atmosphere, but I think Gor Mahia as a team, the philosophy, everything they are past that. I think they have faced more severe and tough atmospheres than the ones at the Gusii Stadium. So if there is one thing that would make them draw points at the Gusii Stadium, I think is the quality and the consistency that we have seen from Shabana. Yeah.
And another big match today at exactly 4 p.m. we have Tusker FC will be down to action against FC Leopards, which sits 5th at the table. And hii sasa pia ni ile mechi ya kukata na shoka. Hapa sasa ndo kibarua iko kwa Kenya Police. Wakiluzi pass. Mimi naona pia hii inaweza kuwa the beginning of the end for them. So this is a must-win match for FC Leopards, a must-win match for Kenya Police. Stakes are high. In fact, this weekend's fixture is quite interesting. It's like the decider.
Yeah, the deciding moment.
Nani atakaa hapo on top. Because Kenya Police ikislip, Tusker FC ishike points, wanaruka.
True that.
Aya, Tusker FC ifanye mchezo, Kenya Police ifanye mchezo, Gor ipate njia ishinde, inaruka.
Yeah, sure.
So your prediction on Tusker FC versus FC Leopards, unaona like Leopards watangata polisi ama polisi watashoot?
I think there is every sign that this is a match that is going to end in a draw. I understand AFC Leopards almost 10 points below Tusker on the table, but at the same time both teams have enjoyed, we can say, pretty a good season. AFC Leopards, especially under Ambani, they have been quite good, but again, consistency, I think they have lacked that. But this is a project that is at the start of it's at its start. Okay, it's at its onset. At the same time, we are talking about a Tusker side that is, for the very first time, they are not under the stewardship of
Robert Matano. So it's a test of time to really see if the same mentality that they have had, especially in the final matches, is the test of time to really look at it and see if they have maintained that under the stewardship of a different manager. So I think it will be a draw. A draw
at the end of the day.
A draw for you.
Yes.
All right. Because pia time ina fly na pia ligi momentum yake pia ina fly.
Sure.
Let's switch focus to some European actions. Midweek, quite amazing football. Amazing. From Inter Milan versus Barcelona, that was the moment, the footballing highlight of the week. You score, I score.
Sure.
That was beautiful football at its peak moment. Then Arsenal, PSG, well, it's fair to say Arsenal was the better team in terms of ball control, possession, but they were blunt up front. They fired blank, and at the end of the day, PSG won by a solitary goal that was scored at 4th minute by Dembele, and that was the difference between the two sides. As we head to the second leg of this UEFA Champions League semi-finals, let me begin with Arsenal versus PSG. Well, do you think Arsenal has what it takes to overturn a 1-0 deficit to their advantage and probably clinch the ticket to the finals?
Simple. From a tactical point of view, what Arsenal can do on the pitch?
Nothing.
They can, okay? If they are able to get Thomas Partey back, I know this has been the excuse throughout the week. Rice did not play in an advanced role, so we never created the right chances, and so on and so forth. So if they are able to get of course, will be there, Thomas Partey, after his suspension. So from a tactical point of view, I think yes. But now, my worry, and what should worry Arsenal fans, they are just, Arsenal, they just have some sort of a philosophy they are building. They switch off at the most crucial moment. Just look at the last 2 titles they have lost to Manchester City, and now the third one that they have lost with almost 5 matches to go. From that point of view of the mentality, the desire, the being able to remain consistent, and I said this at the start of the season, the biggest task Mikel Arteta was going to have this season is not to do with quality, injuries, and don't know signings.
In fact, watu wanatumia kizungu kubwa. Sema tu Arsenal hawana winning mentality.
Yeah,
they are not winners.
You have put it in the right manner.
Good.
They don't have that winning mentality. So at the start of the season, I said the biggest task Mikel Arteta will have this season is convincing his boys that we can do it once again after losing 2 times to Manchester City. So if they were not able to do it at home against PSG with the tifos, with all the things they did on media to kind of in layman's language we say sell fear, they were selling fear to PSG, I don't think they really stand a chance in Paris. From not about the quality, the quality is there. Both teams can be at level in terms of the quality and the tactics, but I feel Arsenal lack the winning mentality and they bottle things when it really matters. So I still think PSG will be in the final alongside Milan.
Well, for me, like, I'd have to agree with you. Arsenal, they bottle at a very crucial moment. For me, Arsenal for a long time, hii hata watasema, lakini me I think Arsenal wanakuanga flower girl in every competition. Ikikuja kwa EPL, flower girl. Champions League, very good ride, flower girl. They have most amazing football. They played against a team that, if you ask me, I think on that day PSG was not at its best. Arsenal, in terms of quality, they were at par. But squeezing win out of a very well defensive put team like PSG, that is the challenge. So on Wednesday, mimi naona Arsenal iko na mlima ku climb. Now it's fair to say, guys, mume enjoy at this particular moment. It's fine. Hata mki exit at this point, well, history will be fair to you guys. You have really tried your best. This is the farthest umekuja. Accept it with honor. Mlidharau sana PSG. Ikaonyesha game ni akili, mentality mse. Sometimes yes, quality na matter, lakini akili pia muhimu. Talking about akili, PSG, Inter Milan. Well, this is a team of skills versus physicality. Ukiangalia like majority of goals that Inter Milan scored, it was as a result of the aerial balls.
Yeah.
Then hapo sasa ndo kulikuwa na the difference between Barca and Inter Milan. So how will you analyze pretty quick?
I think it's just as you have said, the skills versus the, would I say, the solidity, you know. Italian football is solid, it's very intense, and again, Inter as a team, they are very diverse with their tactics. Now, when you look at Barcelona, there's a team that, and majorly the Spanish football is all about not the physicality, it's all about the skills, it's all about the flair and so on and so forth. But how I would analyze this Inter versus Barcelona game, I think this is the epic example of what you need to do to win the Champions League, to win the biggest competition, the most prestigious silverware. Barcelona scoring first, Inter Milan, of course, they are responding. And even
it was Inter
first and then
Barcelona.
Yes, And then at the start of the second half, I think it was in the 53rd minute, it is Inter who went ahead again. And then 2 minutes later, Lamine Yamal responds. This is the kind of, mentality that you need. And don't think that it happened by chance. That Barcelona, Inter are scoring, and then 1 minute later, it's not that Inter Milan switched off. It's the quality, it's the mentality, it's the desire from these two teams to really, convince the world that they are the best. And if there is going to be a winner, and I'm saying this with no fear of contradiction, if Inter Milan make it to the final, they are winning it.
If they make it to the final.
If it is Barcelona who make it to the final, they are winning it. So the winner of the Champions League,
in the other side,
I feel it will be between Barcelona and Inter Milan.
What about Arsenal?
Arsenal are not winning anything.
Anyway, the game changer for me, I think, in the Inter vs Barcelona game was the youngster, the Barcelona's youngster, Yamal was the point of difference, because when you look at creating chances, in fact, he was being compared by the Messi of the golden era.
Sure.
And when you look at his stats versus Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, he's ranked higher at 17.
Sure.
And the magical things that he's doing, that is quite amazing. So I think he was the game changer in that particular game between the Inter and, of course, Barcelona. Going to the second leg, now that is the determinant, because both teams are on the same level. So now that is a final.
Sure.
Now that is a final. Before final.
Before the actual final. Sure. So they will be in Italy, and if I am going to pick, it's really hard anyway to really pick one team that will go all the way to the final. But I feel, in terms of the versatility, I feel Inter have an upper hand, to be honest, in terms of the talent, in terms of how they can tweak in their tactics. That is Simone Inzaghi, how he can work. I feel they have an upper hand over Barcelona, but two very good teams that you can't really separate.
All right, so let's take a look at the English Premier League fixtures. The Saturday fixtures, we have an early kickoff between Aston Villa and, of course, Fulham. And later on, Leicester City will be down to action against Southampton at King Power Stadium. Then we have Everton against Ipswich. The match will be played at Goodison Park. Then we have Arsenal vs Bournemouth. Arsenal will welcome Bournemouth at Emirates Stadium. This will be their moment to at least bounce back from defeat and see if they can. Okay, there is nothing to salvage anyway, but 3 points will be important for them. Then on Sunday, Brighton Albion will be up against Newcastle United. Then we have Brentford will be up against Manchester United, a very struggling team in the English Premier League, but they boast about their dominance in the UEFA Europa League, which is fairly to say they have really met very low quality teams, so we can forgive them for that. Then we have West Ham United will be playing against Tottenham Hotspurs at London Stadium in a London derby. On Sunday, this is the battle of the Titans. Chelsea will play host to Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. And let me take your account on this. Chelsea, Liverpool. Well, Liverpool have nothing to lose.
Sure.
But for Chelsea, it's a must win.
It's a must win, especially with the fact that there is a team, this team, Manchester United, that wants to use the back door in a way to qualify for the Champions League next season. So this match to me is a must win for Chelsea. They cannot afford a draw, and the very fact that now the title is decided, okay, I'm not saying that Liverpool just give away the 3 points, but Chelsea need to show the desire to really go out there, and they're at home, yes, so they need to go out there and carry the 3 points Otherwise, it will be the same thing as last season, where Manchester United again used the back door, that is using the FA Cup to really qualify. So Chelsea have to win this match.
How many goals did you guys score against Atletico Bilbao?
3 sweet goals.
Against?
Mesmerizing.
Against?
Absolutely top class.
3 goals against?
Against an Athletic Bilbao side in their stadium. They, before the match, they called it hell. So one of the best matches we have watched. And actually, if I can be a prophet today, allow me to be a prophet. There are 3 truths, okay, in the world. One is that we shall all die one day. Number 2 is that existence comes before reason. You exist before you can find the reason for existing, okay. Number 3 truth is that Manchester United are going to win the Europa League 2024-2025 and qualify for the Champions League.
Ndoto ndugu yangu.
3 truths.
Hiyo ni ndoto. Anyway, so Chelsea versus Liverpool, who do you think will win?
I foresee a draw.
A draw.
Yeah. Though Chelsea have to do everything to win. Yes.
Alright, so for me, even as we wind up, because time is really flying, for simple one, for Chelsea, it's a must-win game, and it will win tomorrow. Have no doubt, have no fear, believe, because it has already been decided. Anyway, so that is how we wrap it up. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene, for all those who made this production a success, and of course for you, our esteemed viewers, for always keeping us a company throughout the rest of the day, and of course the rest of the week, the rest of the month, and of course from the beginning of the year until where we are today. Many thanks, of course, for your esteemed support and for your loyalty, and for always choosing on the spot to keep on informing, updating, entertain, and educate you on matters sports. Salute you. Anyway, so that's how we wrap it up. Until next time, do have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of your viewing and weekend. See you some other time.
Let's start what we have come into the room to do.